Welcome to HFY Adult Stories. Friends, a heartfelt thank you for always being there for me. Red Heart, it's because of your love and support that I've created a brand new channel to bring you even more exciting and special content. Please head over and subscribe to my new channel. The link is in the description. Your one click means the world to me. Folded hands. The alien woman shuffled along the city sidewalk, her gait awkward, thighs pressed together so tightly it looked like she was clenching a secret between them. She cursed in her native tongue, a throaty sound that drew curious stares from passers-by. Her legs trembled with every step, and finally she braced herself against a lamp-post, gasping. The pressure, it's too much, I can't walk. People passing by whispered, eyes widening as they caught snippets. A human man sipping a coffee nearly choked when he heard her mutter that line, and against his better judgment, he stepped closer. You okay there? Sprained something? Overdid leg day? His voice was casual, but his eyes darted downward, clearly trying not to look where she was holding herself. She groaned, frustrated. It's building up between my thighs. I cannot release it alone. Earth's humidity, it makes it worse. The man blinked. His brain went through 1,000 wrong conclusions before landing on the safest. She must mean some kind of muscle cramp. Cramps? I can run to the pharmacy for you, grab some painkillers. She shook her head sharp. No pill will work. I need release. Immediate. Her accent, her urgent tone, and the words she chose made nearby pedestrians stumble and cough, as if overhearing the dirtiest conversation ever had in public. The man raised his hands in defense, whispering now. Lady, you can't just say stuff like that out here. People are already assuming I'm some creep. Her glare softened into desperation. She shifted her weight, and a strange pulse seemed to ripple from her thighs like the muscles themselves were vibrating. She winced. If it continues to build, my legs will crush whatever they touch. The last time, I broke a metal chair in half. Imagine if it were a person. His eyebrows shot up, both intrigued and alarmed. Okay, that's either the weirdest pickup line or the scariest medical condition I've ever heard. She leaned closer, her breath hot against his ear. Humans can relieve it. You are natural valves for my kind. You must help me, or I will collapse. He sputtered, nearly spitting coffee onto his shirt. Excuse me? A what? A valve? What am I, a bicycle pump? Similar principle, she said deadpan. The man laughed nervously, looking around at the gawking strangers. Look, I don't even know your name and you're asking me to, what exactly? Put my hands between your thighs in broad daylight? I'll end up on a list. She pressed his wrist urgently against her thigh. He flinched, but the moment his skin made contact, a subtle energy pulsed into his palm. Warm, tingling, almost electric. She gasped, and the pressure inside her legs eased slightly. There, see? You're already helping. His eyes widened. Holy shit, you weren't kidding. Her head tilted back, relief flooding her features. Keep pressing. Stronger. Don't stop. He swallowed hard. Lady, you sound like every bad line from a cheap adult movie right now. Her lips twitched into a grin. If it works, does it matter how it sounds? He coughed, cheeks red. Depends who's listening. This city has more security cameras than pigeons. I do not need to go viral as the guy giving, whatever this is, in public. She steadied herself on him, lowering her voice. Then we go somewhere quieter. But quickly. I can hardly move. She tried to take a step but nearly stumbled. He caught her, their bodies pressed close, and he felt the heat radiating off her thighs like a space heater set on max. This is insane, he muttered, half to himself. I was just getting a coffee, and now I'm apparently being recruited as some kind of alien thigh whisperer. She gave a low chuckle despite her discomfort. Your humor, strange, but it eases my embarrassment. My species finds this condition shameful. But with humans, maybe not shameful. Practical. Practical, he repeated, shaking his head. Lady, nothing about this is practical. My mom always warned me about strangers asking for weird favors. But this definitely wasn't on her list. She gripped his hand tighter against her thigh, her eyes locking onto his. If you don't, the pressure will force my muscles to contract violently. I could destroy property, or worse. You wouldn't want that guilt, would you? He sighed, rubbing his temple with his free hand. You're really good at emotional blackmail for someone who can't walk straight. Fine. But you're explaining this properly. None of this vague pressure talk. What exactly is happening to you? Her chest rose and fell as she steadied herself to explain. We store energy in the upper muscles of our legs. It powers regeneration, stamina, even fertility. But Earth's air makes it multiply uncontrollably. I can only contain so much before it becomes unbearable. You humans, when you touch, your bodies siphon it out. Like grounding a live wire. He let that sink in, his eyes wide. So basically, I'm your outlet? Yes. Like literally your plug socket? Yes. He closed his eyes and muttered, God, I wish I had just stayed home today. She smirked despite her obvious pain. And yet fate put you here. Perhaps destiny knows what it is doing. He snorted. Destiny really needs a new hobby. She leaned in, her voice husky, equal parts serious and teasing. You are my valve. Don't fail me. His stomach flipped. On one hand, he couldn't believe the words leaving her mouth. On the other, the strange energy radiating into his hand was real, undeniable, and oddly addictive. He wanted to pull away, but the slight sigh of relief she let out when he pressed again froze him in place. Great, he muttered. I guess I'm about to become the most overworked human stress ball on the planet. Her eyes softened, just a touch of gratitude showing through the tension. Not stress ball. Lifeline. And before he could protest again, she pulled him closer, whispering just loud enough for him to hear. You're my perfect release valve. He groaned under his breath, already regretting every decision that had led him to this street. Not the worst compliment I've gotten, but definitely the weirdest. He leaned against the wall of the alley with her clinging to him, thighs trembling like a jackhammer. His heart hammered as he whispered, Okay, so you need me to relieve you. But we're not doing this in public. People already think I'm some pervert who picked up a limping tourist. She gave him a sharp look, sweat beading on her brow. You joke while I am suffering. Every step is torture. My thighs will crush together like a vice if I do not release. You are the only option. He exhaled, rubbing his face. Fantastic. Out of 8 billion people on Earth, it's me. Just my luck. He guided her deeper into the alley, away from the crowd, and lowered her onto a crate. Her legs trembled as she spread them just enough for the pressure to show through every muscle. He tried not to stare, failed, then muttered, You know this looks exactly like every bad adult film setup, right? She tilted her head innocently. If it looks the same, does that make it less effective? He groaned. Lady, you're killing me. All right, let's start with something normal. Stretches. Humans stretch out cramps, maybe it'll work on you too. He positioned her legs and pushed one outward, trying to mimic a physical therapist. She gasped loudly, head falling back, and a strange low hum came from her thighs. He froze, horrified. Okay, that noise better not mean what I think it means. She panted. More. Harder. Do not stop. His eyes darted around. Jesus, you sound like a woman in a bad porno, and I'm about 2 seconds away from someone calling the cops on me. He tried a different angle, lifting her leg like a yoga instructor. She moaned, clutching at his shoulders, her words spilling in her alien tongue, a language so guttural and sensual it made him break into a nervous sweat. Lady, if anyone hears this, I'm done for. They'll never believe this is medical treatment. She smirked faintly. It is both medical and enjoyable. That is no crime. The pressure didn't ease, though. Her thighs only trembled more violently. He set her leg down and grabbed his coffee cup, pressing the cold surface against her thigh. She yelped, thighs snapping shut like steel traps, almost crushing his hand. He ripped it back, shaking it. Holy shit! You nearly amputated me! She whimpered, rocking side to side. Ice does nothing. It only angers the energy. I need your touch. Direct. He stared at her, dumbfounded. Direct? You mean skin contact? She nodded firmly. He laughed bitterly. Of course. Why wouldn't it be skin contact? Because fate clearly wants me fired, jailed, and divorced from a wife I don't even have yet. Still, he reached out, pressing his hand fully against the bare inside of her thigh. The moment he did, a surge of warmth shot into him like static electricity, his arm buzzing up to the elbow. He yelped. What the hell? Did you just taser me with your legs? She hissed in relief. Yes. That is the siphon working. Don't pull away. He clenched his jaw, enduring the weird energy coursing through him. It wasn't painful, but it felt too intimate, too suggestive. She locked eyes with him, panting. Do not stop. You are grounding me. I need more. He muttered. Great. Just great. This is how my obituary is gonna read. Local man dies while acting as alien's human battery charger. Her grip tightened, pulling his hand higher. He stiffened. Whoa, boundaries. I don't even know your name yet. She gasped out between shudders. Name is not important now. What matters is release. He pinched the bridge of his nose. You realize how insane you sound? You sound like a drunk girl at a frat party. She groaned, laughing breathlessly. If it helps, pretend I am drunk. Would that make you more comfortable? He gawked. No. It makes me sound like a criminal. Still, he didn't stop pressing. Every second his palms stayed there. The vibrations in her thighs lessened, though her face twisted with a mix of pain and bliss. He tried humor to distract himself. You know, this is the weirdest workout of my life. Do I get a certificate when this is over? Professional alien massage therapist? She wheezed a laugh. Better. You get gratitude, and maybe dinner. Despite himself, he chuckled. Dinner first, then maybe thighs. That's usually how it goes. She leaned closer, whispering huskily. Humans waste time with rituals. My kind gets straight to need. He swallowed, throat dry. Lady, I think your kind would terrify every human man alive. Straight to thighs without small talk? She smirked faintly. And yet you are still here. He didn't have an answer for that. He pressed harder, and suddenly she let out a sharp cry, thighs snapping shut around his hand. He froze, panic in his eyes. Oh shit, did I break you? Did I press the wrong button? She shuddered violently, then let out a long, guttural sigh. No, you found it. The valve. His face went red instantly. Oh, come on. You couldn't have picked a less sexual name? She chuckled weakly. But that is what it is. The valve. You touched it. The warmth surged out of her in waves, traveling up his arm, leaving him tingling all over. She sagged against him, thighs still trembling but looser now. He blinked, sweat on his brow, muttering. You know, this is probably the single most awkward handshake in galactic history. She laughed softly, breathless. And the most effective. He pulled his hand back finally, staring at it like it betrayed him. So let me get this straight. You need a human, specifically me, to press your valve whenever you get too humid? And this is a lifelong condition? She nodded solemnly. Yes. Without you, I cannot function on Earth. With you, I can survive. He groaned, dragging a hand down his face. Fantastic. I'm officially an alien's emotional support valve. She tilted her head, grinning despite exhaustion. Better than being useless, no? He shot her a look, half annoyed, half amused. Yeah, well, let's see if I still have a working wrist tomorrow before we start printing business cards. And then she leaned closer, her voice low and sultry. Don't worry, human. You are stronger than you think. And I haven't even shown you the full pressure yet. His jaw dropped. Wait, this wasn't the full pressure? Her wicked smile said it all. He braced himself, still reeling from the last wave of energy she forced through him, and muttered. You're telling me what I just endured was only half? Lady, I nearly short-circuited like a toaster in a bathtub. She tilted her head, sweat gleaming on her skin, lips curved into a teasing smirk. Then prepare yourself, human. The real release is not gentle. It is everything. He swallowed hard, fighting the urge to bolt. Great. I always wanted my tombstone to read, here lies some guy, exploded by alien thighs. She laughed, then pulled him between her legs with surprising force, thighs clamping his hips like hydraulic pistons. His eyes went wide. Jesus Christ, you're strong. One wrong squeeze and I'll be a pancake. She leaned forward, whispering. Then don't give me reason to squeeze wrong. He pressed his palms against her thighs, fingers splayed, and immediately felt the humming surge deep beneath her skin. It was alive, vibrating, begging for release. He tried to keep it clinical, muttering under his breath. Okay, this is just therapy, just biology, nothing weird about massaging alien energy pockets. But then she groaned, arching against him, and his resolve crumbled. Okay, correction, everything is weird about this. She gasped, her body trembling, eyes fluttering shut. Yes, right there. Push harder. You are grounding me perfectly. He grit his teeth, forcing his hands deeper into the muscle, every pulse of energy making his arms tingle. I swear, if someone walks by right now, they're gonna think I'm the worst chiropractor on Earth. Her thighs shuddered violently, and she cried out in her alien tongue, guttural syllables echoing off the alley walls. He froze, panic-stricken. That didn't sound like relief. That sounded like you were summoning Satan. She laughed breathlessly. That was praise. You are better than expected. Better than expected? He echoed, sweat dripping down his temple. Lady, I'm not even certified in this. I barely know how to fold laundry properly. She tightened her grip on him, pulling him closer until their foreheads nearly touched. Yet you fit. Perfectly. The energy pours out of me into you, and you take it all. You are made for this. He coughed nervously. Made for it? What am I, your custom-built adapter plug? Her smirk widened. Exactly. The vibration intensified, a deep thrumming that traveled up his arms, into his chest, rattling his bones. He clenched his jaw, forcing himself to hold steady. Holy hell, it's like hugging a car engine. She moaned, nails digging into his shoulders. Do not stop now. The climax is close. He winced. Could you maybe pick a different word? Climax really isn't helping me focus. She ignored him, rocking her hips forward as the hum became a roar. Her entire body trembled, and suddenly the world seemed to shake around them. The crate beneath her cracked, the wall behind them rattled, and dust fell from above. He looked around frantically. Jesus Christ, is this safe? Am I about to cause a building collapse by accident? She cried out one final time, thighs locking tight, energy surging through him like a lightning strike. His body jerked, every nerve lit up like fireworks, and he thought for sure his brain would fry. Then silence. The hum faded, the vibration slowed, and she slumped against him, panting heavily, glowing faintly with a strange bioluminescent sheen. He stumbled back, collapsing onto his ass, chest heaving. Holy shit! Did I just have sex or survive electrocution? Because I can't tell the difference right now. She chuckled weakly, leaning forward to stroke his cheek. You did both. You healed me. And you proved yourself strong enough to handle me at full force. He blinked up at her, dazed. Strong? Lady, I think I just shaved 10 years off my lifespan. She giggled, pressing her thighs together playfully. Worth it. Now I can walk again. He groaned, rubbing his sore arms. Good for you. I, on the other hand, may never walk again. I'm gonna need a wheelchair just to get out of this alley. She slid off the crate gracefully, her stride smooth and confident now, energy renewed. She twirled once, showing off her regained strength. See? You are miraculous. No human tool could have achieved this. Only you. He dragged himself upright, glaring half-heartedly. Yeah, I'm your miracle. Just wait until my arm hair stops standing on end like I stuck a fork in an outlet. She cupped his face, eyes softening. Do not mock. What you gave me was more than relief. It was connection. I felt you inside me, grounding me. You are different from other humans. He stiffened, suddenly aware of the intimacy in her tone. Inside you? Lady, careful with the phrasing. You're gonna get me arrested. She smirked. Perhaps I want them to know. Please don't, he groaned. I don't need to explain to law enforcement why an alien woman is bragging about me being her portable outlet. But she kissed his cheek anyway, leaving a faint glow behind. You are my perfect release valve. My partner. He stared at her, wide-eyed. Partner? Whoa, hold up, we just met today. I haven't even bought you a sandwich yet. She only laughed, walking ahead with a sway in her hips, calling back. Then buy me one. After all, you've already given me something far more intimate. He sighed, following behind, muttering to himself. Great. First day as an alien's boyfriend, and my hands already feel like I've been milking a nuclear reactor. Her laughter echoed through the alley, mischievous and victorious, while he dragged his aching body after her, knowing deep down he was in way too deep to back out now. The room still smelled faintly of sweat, ozone, and something like a fried transformer, though either of them dared to mention it. She lay sprawled on his couch, thighs still trembling, eyes glazed like she'd run a marathon uphill with a freight train strapped to her back. He sat on the edge of the coffee table, nursing a lukewarm beer like it was a medal of honor he didn't remember earning. The silence between them was thicker than any textbook on interspecies diplomacy, but it wasn't the bad kind. It was the kind filled with the echo of too many thoughts no sane person would ever try to say out loud. You know, she started, voice hoarse but tinged with the kind of smugness only someone freshly healed in a scandalous way could pull off. On my world, men who can relieve pressure usually end up in charge of whole villages. He choked on his beer. Village chief? For doing that? What do you call it, thigh therapy? I didn't see that class in the college electives. It's not funny, she said, though her lips twitched like they wanted to betray her. We call them balancers. They keep our bodies from exploding. Literally exploding. Without them, our species would be limping around until we die of compression. Imagine that, everyone waddling like penguins until kaboom. He snorted. Sexy image. Nothing gets me harder than picturing an entire alien village walking like they just rode a horse for 40 hours straight. She threw a cushion at him, weakly, like her muscles hadn't fully rebooted from her therapy session. He caught it, hugged it dramatically, then sighed. Well, good news. If you ever want to campaign for office on Earth, I've got your campaign slogan ready. Vote for her, the pressure-free candidate. Her laugh came out in a sudden bark, half snort, half groan. You think this is a joke. But you're actually a balancer. And you don't even know what that means. Please, he said, puffing his chest out. I've been balancing student loans, rent, and crippling social anxiety for years. I think I can add alien thigh pressure relief specialist to the resume without losing my balance. Her gaze flickered toward him, sharp now, almost too sharp for comfort. You're not taking this seriously. Do you understand what happens if another one of my kind overhears you bragging about this? He raised an eyebrow. They'll line up at my door with coupons and group rates. No, she hissed, sitting up so fast her hair practically whipped him. They'll kidnap you. Strap you down. Use you until there's nothing left but a husk. Balancers aren't supposed to leave our planet for a reason. You've stumbled into a job that comes with chains. The grin slipped from his face for a beat, but then the sarcasm autopilot kicked back in. Okay, so worst case scenario, I become the most overworked gigolo/doctor/energy sponge in the galaxy. I mean, I've had worse internships. She blinked, stared at him, then pressed her palm to her forehead like she couldn't believe this was her healer. Do humans ever process danger without making a joke? No, he said flatly. It's in our DNA. If we're not laughing about our trauma, we're crying into cheap whiskey. I don't even like whiskey, so guess which one I choose. The corner of her mouth curled, even as she fought it. She tried to hide it, but it was too late. He saw it, pounced on it. Aha! Got you. Admit it, you like it when I joke about your thighs. She slapped her own thigh with a dramatic thwack that made him wince in sympathy. You think this burden, is just a punchline. But it hurts, human. Do you know what it's like to walk into a humid Earth mall, feel the air conditioning break down, and suddenly it's like carrying 2 watermelons ready to explode between your legs? His beer almost shot out of his nose. That's the most relatable metaphor I've ever heard in my life. And I don't even have alien thighs. That's like me after 3 burritos and no bathroom. You're disgusting. You're welcome. The tension broke again. She slumped against the couch, exhaustion tugging at her shoulders, but there was softness in the way she looked at him now. Something dangerously close to gratitude. Something he wasn't sure he could joke his way out of. You saved me today, she admitted quietly. I couldn't even walk. I thought I was going to burst. And then you, clumsy, clueless, ridiculous you, healed me without even realizing what you were doing. He scratched the back of his neck, cheeks warming. Yeah, well, don't spread it around. I've got a reputation to uphold. Can't have people thinking I'm some kind of alien chiropractor with extras. She tilted her head. Extras? Happy endings, he deadpanned. Her laugh came so hard it turned into a cough. She clutched her side, wheezing. You're horrible. Absolutely horrible. Thank you, he said with mock solemnity. My exes said the same thing. Guess I'm consistent. But beneath the sarcasm, his chest tightened at her words. Save me. Not exactly the kind of thing you shrug off, even if you're the kind of guy who hides feelings behind dick jokes and pizza coupons. For a long moment, the silence stretched again, but now it felt charged, humming like the air before a thunderstorm. She reached across, fingers brushing his hand, tentative but sure enough to make his throat dry. What happens now? She asked softly. What happens if the pressure comes back? He swallowed, staring at her hand, then back at her face. Then, I guess I'll be around. Call it my civic duty. Neighborhood watch, but for thighs. Her smile was slow, sly, dangerous. You'd really volunteer for that kind of service? Hey, he said, forcing a grin though his pulse raced. It's a tough job. But someone's gotta keep the galaxy walking straight. She leaned closer, her breath brushing his cheek. Careful, human. You make promises like that, and one day you'll wake up chief of a village you never asked for. He smirked, whisper low. As long as they've got beer and Wi-Fi, I'll manage. Their laughter tangled together, messy and ridiculous, just like the situation that had shoved them into each other's orbit. Maybe it was dangerous. Maybe it was insane. Maybe he'd regret every second of it. But for now, with the warmth of her hand wrapped around his and the ghost of her pressure still echoing in the air, it didn't feel like a burden. It felt like the start of a very stupid, very adult, very human kind of adventure.